It's a YOLO Solo Thursday here on Market Movers. I'm not sure. Someone's going to have to look it up in the Market Movers archives. I'm not sure we've ever done this before. That's okay. Nearly 3 months into the program, our first solo show. We love it that way sometimes. Sometimes you got to talk things out just with yourself. That's what we're going to do today. Welcome to the show. My name's Dan Koob. Good that you're here. We have, of course, Thursday Night Football going on so far. TTI, TikTok investors checking in. What's up, my friend? We'll have to have you back on the show sometime. We'll do some more NBA worst investments. We did a Twitter space with him not that long ago. We love chatting with our guy, TTI. Somewhat of a shorter show today. Obviously, talking to myself doesn't lend the longest of discussions. That's okay. We've got Thursday Night Football, and then I want to unveil something that I'm really excited about, which is a power rankings of my favorite power rankings. So we're listing lists. Who doesn't love a good list, right? I definitely do. We're going to start the show, though, talking about Thursday Night Football, as we always do here on Thursdays. We'll pull up the pricing markets on Sport Trade for Raiders and Rams. Interesting deep dive into this one we're about to do. Make sure you got your Speedo pulled up tight. Make sure you've got your goggles on because we're jumping in off the deep end. The Raiders priced at $73 to win the football game. The Rams priced at $28 to win the football game. Sport Trade, Greg chiming in. We rank the ranks. That's what we do here on Market Movers. The spread is 5.5 in favor of the Raiders. $56 to cover. The Rams at plus 5.5 at $45. So sentiment quite low this afternoon on the Los Angeles Rams, and for good reason, frankly. The over-under 44.5 points is just trading 42.5. That might be the lowest we've seen on the program for a Thursday night football game. The under 44.5 getting 58.5. So very clearly, people are confident in the fact that the Rams will not be able to put up points on the football field, but the Raiders should be able to put up points. So at just 5.5, you look at this and you have to say, because Sport Trade doesn't move its lines after they're posted, we just update our prices. You have to look at that and say, well, 5.5 is pretty attractive because you're not going to get that anywhere else. That's going to be 6.5, maybe even 7 in some spots already. So 5.5 to me, looking pretty good. And on the alternate lines, we have Rams minus 3.5. Really? That's at 19.5. Good luck. Raiders plus 3.5 is at 81.5. So I'm not sure if there's a ton of value to be had there. Then you've got Raiders minus 12.5. That's kind of interesting. Minus 12.5, kind of interesting. Priced at just $35.50 per contract. That might be worth, if you're working with a smaller bankroll, that might be worth half a contract at just $35.5. Rams plus 12.5 at $66.5. And again, we mentioned the total. So the market movement on this game has been very interesting because obviously with the Rams quarterback situation, Matthew Stafford is now on IR. John Wofford has a neck injury. And the Rams go ahead and they pick up Baker Mayfield. It's third team in 2 seasons for Baker Mayfield. And it has really sort of upset the market. We'll pull it up. I know this is not going to be maybe the easiest to read, but I will shepherd you through some of the price movement here from our guy Jack Larkin, who is so great pulling all these stats together here at Sporttrade. The biggest price move, we're going to go all the way to the right, to where the graph turns red. And you can see the Tuesday midpoint and the change since. And you can see it in dollars, you can see it in percentage. So when you look at Rams minus 3.5 on Thursday was 19.20, or Tuesday rather, was 21, now 19.25 on Thursday. An 8.33 negative percentage movement is the biggest percentage movement. The biggest dollar amount movement in this market has been on the over. On Tuesday, it was 47.75, now 44.25. And again, we'll just pull it right back up, 42.5. So an even more extreme movement. So that's definitely the most percentage-wise. At last check, prior to that update, it was negative 7.33%, but now it's much more than that. 47.75 to 42.5. Somebody better at math can do that for me as I'm talking and pushing buttons and directing the show and producing the show. It's a lot, okay? A lot there. I do want to talk about, we don't usually do this on the show, but I felt it was worthwhile diving into exactly what is going on with Baker Mayfield in his career. Because I'm looking at this game as a sports trader, and I'm saying, okay, I don't really love the Raiders at 73 straight up. Again, with somebody of my bankroll, if you have a huge bankroll, you love the Raiders at 73, right? Because you could put 73 and return almost 20, a little more than 25, right? You can grow your bankroll by a quarter if you really wanted to. If you're in my position, 73 is not a ton of value for you. But if you look at maybe Rams minus 5.5, I already mentioned at 12.5, maybe do half a contract there, right? That's not a big deal at 35.5. So earlier this week, Baker Mayfield is waived by the Carolina Panthers. He doesn't clear waivers, but he's picked up by the Los Angeles Rams. So as I mentioned, don't have Stafford, don't have Wofford. So here we are on Tuesday. The Rams play Thursday. Reports come out that Baker Mayfield is flying from Carolina to Los Angeles with a playbook, an iPad in his hand, in an attempt to learn the playbook on the plane ride and in the succeeding 25, 30 hours. How complex could that playbook be? How simple could the package possibly be tonight for Baker Mayfield in order for him to be able to operate any sort of offense? It can't be all that complex. So I really want to take a deep dive here. I want to go through Baker as a quarterback because we have to ask the question, is it over for Baker Mayfield? His career stats this year with the Panthers, a 57.8% completion percentage for just over 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 74. Obviously bad. We know that. There's a reason why he was waived, obviously. But it's more than just this year. Go back to last year. Yeah, he had a hurt shoulder. Yeah, the team wasn't that great. They had offensive line issues, yada, 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 whatever, okay? A 60% completions percentage for a bad Browns team. Threw for over 3,000 yards, 17 scores, 13 interceptions, 83.1 quarterback rating. Even when they were good, he was only completing 62.8% of his passes in 2020 when the Browns won a playoff game and ended up losing at Arrowhead to the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's combine a lot of these stats, right? Because I don't want to just nitpick and pull stats here and stats there to support my theory and all that stuff, because a lot of people do that. I'm not interested. 6.4 yards per attempt. That's 30th for quarterbacks this season with over 150 throws this year. 34th in completion percentage at just 57.8%. That's behind guys like Cooper Rush, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota. His QBR is 18.3. That is dead last. And again, to complete the entire picture for you, last year he was 27th. He had a QBR of 40.9. 2020, 65.5. He was 10th, by far the best in his entire career. 2019, 19th overall at 54.4. Rookie year, he was 23rd. I mean, QBR is not everything, right? It can't be. It's an ESPN manufactured stat. It doesn't take in this into account and that into account. So there's other things that we can look at, right? Let's look at this. How about EPA? I think a lot of people now have accepted that EPA, expected points per dropback, right? Expected points added per dropback, is now sort of accepted as another metric we can use to properly grade how players are doing. So The Athletic did a rundown of every quarterback in the National Football League and where they are in expected points added per dropback, offensive total EPA per play, and passer rating. Mayfield was 33rd in the league, minus 2.3 EPA. No, excuse me, minus 0.23 EPA, minus 0.24 offensive total EPA per play, and just a 75 passer rating. If you like more traditional stats like wins and losses, now I don't believe that quarterback wins is a stat because, let's be honest, there's 22 guys who play on the field at all times, and one of them isn't going to 100% determine wins and losses every single week, right? I think that's a flawed stat. But if you like that traditional stat, he's 7-14 in his last 2 years. So you add all that up with the knowledge that he only has 2 days to prepare tonight with a limited playbook. There's no Allen Robinson. There's no Cooper Kupp. And the offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams, I don't know if you know this, are ranked by multiple positional indexing sites as having the worst offensive line in the National Football League. So why did the Rams bother to pick up Baker Mayfield? I think the better question is, should anyone else after this season? I don't really think so. So maybe now I'm talking to myself through this and I'm saying maybe 73 is the best idea. Maybe this isn't even a game and you should absolutely grab the Raiders at 73 and make as much money as possible. Again, alternate spreads. Raiders minus 5.5 at 57. We got here at 56 now. Raiders minus 12.5 at 35.5. Maybe that's the play. We're going to do something fun right now. Again, I mentioned shorter show. It's a YOLO solo show, the first in the history of Market Mover. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us and watching the program for at least a little bit before you get tired of hearing my voice. I am obsessed with not just power rankings, but how much we love power rankings. I don't understand why we love them so much. I consider myself very much in love with power rankings myself. So, for the first time, I'm going to power rank my favorite power rankings in something that I like to call a strength list. So here's my first one. Number 5, Madden ratings release. I think we can all agree. I actually have not played Madden. I have not purchased Madden NFL football in years. However, I do love the Twitter discourse that happens when the rankings come out and somebody like Myles Garrett is above Travis Kelce. And for whatever reason, that sends entire fan bases into an absolute tizzy. Don't understand it. Having said all that, I love it. Number 4, favorites list on your phone. I have to come back on camera for this one. Your favorites list in your contacts on your phone is a subconscious power ranking of all the people in your life. And it's amazing. It's hilarious. You want to know what kind of person you are? You want to know who you value the most in life? Check that. That is an unbelievable power ranking. The favorites list on your phone. Number 3, the Forbes team's evaluation lists. This is appointment reading, in my opinion. Absolutely appointment reading. I love every second of it. I have it up right now. The Dallas Cowboys, number 1 most valuable franchise at over $8 billion. Number 2, the New England Patriots at $6.4 billion. The Los Angeles Rams, we just talked about how terrible they are. Stan Kroenke in 2010 paid $750 million for them, now worth $6.2 billion. Unbelievable. I love it. I can just go on. And then you got the Yankees and the Giants and yada, 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 all the New York teams, all the Chicago teams, all the San Francisco teams, whatever. I don't see any Philadelphia teams on here. There you go. The Philadelphia Eagles, number 16 at $4.9 billion, purchased for just $185 million by Jeffrey Lurie in 1994, a 5-year change of 85%. Appointment reading, in my opinion. Number 2, I love this answer. Shout out to Greg Rappaport for putting this one into my head. I love it. Family Feud answer boards. Who does not love this? This is a power ranking for the people. We are polling 100 people per night, per category, to give us our power rankings for whatever. I imagine if you're looking at cologne aftershave, deodorant, Axe body spray, powder, this must be the worst smells possible on a human. Air freshener, food, chocolate, flower, petals. Give me a break. This is not Enchanted, which I just saw. There's nothing better to me than a good, crisp Family Feud answer board with a good answer for an answer you know that is absolute trash. And the number one strength list of power rankings on my board, I know many of you will agree, NFL mock drafts. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to NFL mock drafts. There's nothing I love more than a good NFL mock draft. In fact, I pulled up a mock draft as close as I could find it. This is just a list of players that are good. And I'm reading all of those. I love NFL mock drafts. I go to Tankathon every Monday to see where the picks fall because, of course, the Eagles have the New Orleans Saints pick, number one first-round pick this year, and that's maybe a top 5 pick because they keep losing. I am always on Tankathon looking to see where that pick could fall, and then I'm always on one of the many aggregate sites here that list players and player comps and whatever, checking out who could be wearing midnight green next year. And as soon as those mock drafts come up, I'm all over them. So I'll pull up the list one more time. The strength list. Top 5 power rankings of my favorite power rankings. The Madden ratings release. The favorites list on your iPhone. The Forbes team evaluation list. Family Feud answer boards. And finally, NFL mock drafts. Embrace debate. That's our show for today. That's the wrong button. That is also the wrong button. We're going to get this right. That is the correct button. Thanks so much for watching this YOLO solo show here on Market Movers. We're back Monday with Anita Marks. Thanks for bearing with us. Have a great weekend. Enjoy an entire weekend of trading on World Cup on the NFL. Enjoy all of the Major League Baseball introductory press conferences for all the guys that your teams have signed. We'll catch back up with you right here next week, 4 o'clock, as we do every Monday through Thursday. Have a great weekend.